Hey guys, Adam Perry here with TrueDFS, and I'm going to go over today's 9-game NHL DFS slate. Before we do that, we'll look at last night's slate. We'll look at some of the Sim ROI results, see what looked good, what didn't, and try and learn something from it. I mentioned to Cheetah Legs in Discord that I'd go over his lineups. I don't have his username though, so he gave me some contests to look at, but I don't know, even if I looked at those contests, I wouldn't know who to look at. So I'm just going to do the equivalent contests from yesterday, and then maybe tomorrow we'll go over his exactly the day after, whenever we get that info. But yeah, this is a tough slate. We'll do the slate today after that. It's a tough slate because the chalk has a lot of news involved. We've got Dallas projecting pretty high ownership and being a really good play on the slate, but we don't have Hintz projection yet, and we're probably going to get one. It looks like most places are projecting Hintz to be playing. He's a game time decision. That game does not start at lock, so you're going to have to look out for it. Then the question is, if Hintz plays, are these the lines? These are what people are thinking, but we don't know for sure if this is what it's going to be. So you're going to have to look out for that on today's slate, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's take a look at yesterday's stuff. We'll go over some of the low dollar mini maxes and I think Chilek says he plays in the hand check or the poke check something. So let's go. Yeah, here's the hip check. So let's take a look at yesterday's hip check and see what kind of lineups graded well. And I mean, this gives us an idea for how we want to build, right? So we'll sort by Sim ROI. Top ROI lineups are all heavily correlated, right? 5 with the one-offs, but then the 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, 5-2, 5-2. I mean, it takes a while before we get into something with less correlation, and the 3-2-2 here. Here's a 3-3-2 and a 4-2. But correlation is king, right? And this is a contest of, let's see what the size is. This is for the hip check. Big contest, right? So we see even in the smaller stuff that correlation on these small slates is still everything. So let's see how people played. See how many lineups. Like of the 20 maxers, who played what? Oh, let's check in Discord. Cheetah Legs on DraftKings. Okay, cool. And you said you played this not yesterday, was Wednesday, so Tuesday. So let's look at Tuesday. Thanks, man. Let's take a look at how your lineup's graded and what we could learn from that. So the hip check, the mini max, and the quarter jukebox. So let's start with the hip check again. That's like the 20 max $1. I think. Good contest. Here's my stuff. All right, hip check, hip check, hip check. So this is a contest with a lot of entrants. $8,300 to be somewhat exact. So let's take a look at what you did. Okay, so you've got 5 in here. Creating one. All right, so 10% ROI is pretty good, right? Let's see what kind of lineups graded the best. Let's see for the contest what graded the best, and then see which ones of yours graded the best. Here's Scott McCarty up there in Sim ROI. Nice to see. another member of ours. So it's, again, all these correlated lineups creating. So your question was about correlation, right? And setting stacks and rules. And like, I just think pre-lock or pre-build, sorry, I'm only going to build 5-2s and 4-3s and 6-mans because those are the ones that are going to they're just going to perform the best over time. And if you look and you say, oh, well, I know that 3-2-2s can grade well sometimes, and 4-2s and 3-2-2, 3-3-2s, 2-2-2s. Those could grade well sometimes. So maybe I should build them. But look at the worst sim ROIs, right? You're building a lot of trash lineups too, and you only get a pool of 5,000. So look at these trash lineups here, and you see they're all unstacked, right? So you want to have the worst lineups in there, fine. So you'll get some plus EV lineups, but let's say you build 1,000, 1,500 of these kind of lineups, and you get 100 or 200 that grade well. You just put in your pool 1,300 lineups that can't be candidate lineups, and you only get a pool of 5,000, right? This was like an 11-game slate. There's millions of lineups that are possible. So I'm going in pre-build, and I'm telling it, just give me the 4-3s, the 5-2s, and above, because those are the ones I want in my pool, right? So it's not a rule. I'm not setting rules. I'm not saying you have to play the power play guys. I'm not saying you have to play the even strength guys or have a D-man with it or, you know, or whatnot. But I am saying the correlation is king. And it's one of those levers we could pull in DFS, and we don't have many. So that's what I'm going to go in and do when I do a build here in a minute. And that's what I'm going to do with all my builds. So let's take a look at how your lineup's graded. Cheetah legs. Let's see which ones of yours did the best. CW, CU, CHR, CHE. Why can't I can't just look this up, huh? Like I should be able to just search for it. Kind of annoying. So why aren't these coming here? CHE should be right here. We see them here. We know you're in here. So why can't I look at your individual lineups? Cheetah legs. What if I pin it? Will it pin yours here? No. Sort ascending, sort descending, pin column, no pin, pin left and right. Choose columns, auto save. Why can't I just look you up? That is frustrating. I'm going to try this one more time. Someone let me know if I'm doing something wrong here, or if they know why I can't do this. CH. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So we've got 5 lineups. Let's see what you played and what created the best. These 2 really plus EV, strong lineups. The next 3 not as strong. Only 1 plus EV, barely. So the 4-2 and the 3-3 grade as negative EV. The 5-2 and the 6-man's grade as plus EV. The 5-2 grades as plus EV, but barely. But it's still plus EV, right? So you asked me what kind of lineups to build. This is what I'm building. 5-2, 6s, 4-3s. That's what I want. That's what I want. So let's go to today's slate, and I'm going to run a build. I'll run it for the contest I'm playing. We'll see if we could sim some others too. We'll just leave salary as it is. So now I'm going to say, don't put any of this junk in my pool. And I know some of them could be good, but I don't even know if I should play the 5s. But fine for now. Let's run it. Our news source, for some reason, his Twitter account is suspended, which is frustrating. Usually we get Twitter news all day going on, which is frustrating. Okay, building. I've got NFL slate pulled up, of course. That's going to be fun tonight. Hopefully, what's the spread? Like 10.5? Oh, one of the things I like to do with hockey, I mean, you do this with any sport really, is, the pricing on DraftKings is a derivative of the betting markets. But the betting markets move after the pricing comes out. So you could sometimes get a little bit of line value. So if you look at St. Louis, they're plus 119 now. They were like plus 105 earlier. So there's a little bit of line value on the Sabres, and especially like the goalkeeping and stuff. And then Dallas, when Hintz was looking like he was playing, they moved up a little bit. Moved to center too. So there's a little bit of line value there. It's not saying much, but it's worth looking at. Their total stayed about the same. So, all right, we've got 5,000 lineup still, but those are good to glance at before lock. Other news that St. Louis ruled out Carew. He's not going to play tonight. And it's like, he's pretty good. Coach's decision, just not going to play. He's not injured. But, yeah, so with no Carew in there, we'll see if they change their lines altogether. I don't think they are, and they aren't projected to, but it's worth paying attention and monitoring. You're going to get that right at lock, luckily. So that's a good thing. So if you just run by Sabre score, you see we're getting Dallas. And then imagine, I mean, it's pretty cheap with Sagan, but then with Hintz, it's a little bit more, but you can do a lot. Sorting by ROI, we get a Vegas stack. Forsky on the power play, assuming he's still there. I don't see why he wouldn't. He might move up the line too. If he's in the top 6, that would be good. With Carew out. I don't think he will, though, because I think he's going to center the third line, but we will see. We will see. Let's see if our top 10 is like, sometimes you get one team just bunch up, like you get all Vegas. But this is my process, guys. So you take a look at it, all the picks, all the looking and all this stuff, it's all really what we care about is process. Little Kings in there. Here's a Dallas. Here's more Vegas. It's nothing really bunching up as like a great play. Kings and Vegas kind of standing out as strong ROI teams. You get to wait till the late night hammer, make the big comeback, which is fun. I'm not going to do hand builds today. We do them as an exercise to just see where projections are going and what looks good. I'm going to use SaberSim in general. But if you hit it right now, what would I do? I'd be playing probably a Vegas stack. One of these. Pick your poison. And I'd send it off. And I'd be ready to go. I'm waiting for that late night hammer. So, things are going to change as we get closer to lock, as we get more news and as ownership projections sharpen. And so I'm going to do this same process 10 minutes before post. Now, keep in mind, you could get access to all these tools through TrueDFS.com. This promo code NBA2526, you get 30% off. It's all caps. So you get access to all these tools for like the same price you would pay for just SaberSim, but you get the pay dirt model for analytics, or pay dirt analytics model for DFS and for betting. And you get access to Sheets' projections, Goldie's projections. You get the premium Discord. So there's like a lot of stuff that's worth that's well worth the price. It's really a robust package. So I recommend trying that out. There's trials available. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to look at news, pre-lock and post-lock for that Dallas stuff especially. And with that, I wish you good luck on tonight's slate. Let's make some money